If you continue to stay in places that God has called you out of, you can risk losing the very thing that He has placed on the inside of you. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Aja, and today I wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement about your destiny and what God has called you to do. The title of this is Your Pregnancy Determines Your Company. So, what exactly am I talking about? Not a physical pregnancy, but I'm talking about a spiritual pregnancy. Similar to a physical pregnancy, you can have a pregnancy in the spirit realm. It is something that God has birthed in you. So, it's an assignment, a calling, or it's a burden for you to have to fulfill something. It's a gift that could be on your life. And the thing is, you have to grow it to maturity because eventually you're going to birth this thing into the atmosphere or onto the earth. And you know that you're carrying it, and it's something that you have to continue on until it finally comes to fruition. And so, even if no one else can see it, a spiritual pregnancy is very real. And so, I wanted to talk about three important things that we should consider when we know that there is a call on our life and that God is calling us to birth something. So the first is that you begin to change because of your pregnancy. And so as soon as God downloads a calling, a destiny, an idea, or he pulls you into the wilderness and begins to teach you and impart into you, you begin to change because of what he has placed on the inside of you. And because of that, you realize, okay, I am spiritually pregnant with something, and so I cannot go everywhere. I cannot do everything. I cannot be around everyone, even down to your decisions, the timing, your relationships. They all must reflect the weight that you carry. There are some things that simply cannot grow unless you protect it. And so, what does this look like? This could look like a season where people don't understand you. This could look like a season of isolation where you're just not around everyone like you used to. This can also be a season where you are connected and learning from people that you would not have otherwise been in contact with. For example, in a physical pregnancy, you take a Lamaze class, you do a birthing class, you may do like a hospital tour. Now, normally, if you're not pregnant, you don't engage in those types of activities. But when you are spiritually pregnant, you may surround yourself by other teachers, other evangelists, depending on the call that's on your life, other prophets. You may come into a company of people who carry a similar call on your life. Why? So that you can learn and glean from them. And as you begin to do this, you'll realize that you're even in rooms that you would not have otherwise been in, but because of your pregnancy, you're there. So if some of you are women who are listening, if you have ever been pregnant before, you notice that, as soon as you learn about your pregnancy, you just begin to act differently. If you were a smoker, you stop smoking. You don't even go around people who smoke. I remember when I was pregnant, I would avoid even the smoking section because I didn't want to expose my baby to secondhand smoke. You just begin to move differently as soon as you look at that test and you realize, oh my goodness, I'm pregnant, just even the knowledge of it begins to change how you maneuver and how you move. And so that's no different from a spiritual pregnancy. When you know that God has personally called you to do something, you begin to protect it at all costs. Just like you would in a physical pregnancy, you begin to make decisions and put yourself in a place so that you can get the best result of this pregnancy. And so not only does your knowledge of being pregnant begin to change what you do, your pregnancy begins to change you as well. So if you have ever been pregnant before, you know that there is something called morning sickness. And so not only do you make decisions to protect your baby, your body begins to make decisions for you to protect the baby as well. Same thing spiritually. Your spiritual pregnancy begins to force you to change, meaning your appetite begins to change. You can no longer hang around certain people or laugh at certain things. As you read the Word of God, you begin to realize even crude humor, that's not something that pleases the Lord. And so even your appetite in comedy begins to change. What you watch, what you listen to, where you go, even the smell. I remember when I was pregnant, just smelling something that I had an aversion to, I simply couldn't be in the room. With your spiritual pregnancy, there's just going to be places where you cannot stand to be in the atmosphere because you know that it is not of the Lord. There are some things that you just won't be able to stomach anymore. Why? Because what's in you is starting to change you, whether you like it or not. And we all know, especially us women, morning sickness, it goes away when it's ready to go away. There's nothing we can do about it. We can try to manage it, but it's still there. Why? Because our body is trying to protect what we're carrying. And so you have to realize that you can no longer consume what other people consume. So not only do you change because you know that you're carrying purpose, and your purpose also begins to change you, but then you begin to realize that your environment could also cause you to miscarry. If you continue to stay in places that God has called you out of, you can risk losing the very thing that He has placed on the inside of you. Not everyone can walk with you during this season. There are some atmospheres that are too toxic, too seductive, meaning it's seducing you back into a place of sin. They are too distracting. They are causing you to lose vision and ultimately abort what God has given you. You do not want the plan that God has for you to be delayed or denied or eventually taken from you because you will not get serious and occupy the very thing that He has called you to. So I just want to pray for you right now. I just pray that you do not get weary in your well doing, that you will reap if you faint not. I pray that you would continue on, that God would surround you with people to encourage you to make it to the finish line, to the end, and to give birth to what He has placed on the inside of you. And so I am so excited for what God is going to do in you and through you. I am excited for those of you who are going to finally step out on faith and do what God has called you to do. And so until next time, I will see you guys in my next video.